3, 2, 1. Here I am open with my opinions, advice, and experiences. With love, heartbreak, college, creativity, and so much more. These are my stories. Raw, uncut, and real. Real talk with Tia.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. Today, as you can see, I have some special guests. This is Addie, and this is Kara DeWancha. They just got married. They're newlyweds. If you haven't seen, I did their wedding video. I'll link it below so you guys can check it out if you haven't already. But I just wanted to talk to them about being newlyweds and like married life and some other like cool questions. So let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about like the backstory of your relationship. How did you guys meet? How did you guys, get to like the marriage talk, and then like you guys already kind of talked about marriage life, but
I mean, we first met in high school. We went to the same high school and met our sophomore year in high school. We're friends throughout. We had dated other people while we kind of knew each other, and then it wasn't until probably the end of going into the summer. Was it the summer senior year?
Yeah, it was like the very end of junior year that we started dating.
And so we, at that time, we had recently broken off with my long-term girlfriend at that point, and then her boyfriend at the time, and then things just kind of happened. You're like, hey, she's kind of cute, he's kind of cute, and then I think we started dating had feelings for each other within a week.
Yeah,
it was
weird. We were kind of each other's rebounds. To be
I was going to say,
it really was.
Yeah. But we figured out we actually do love each other enough, or like each other enough to be like, hey, maybe they're cool past a couple months or a couple weeks, and I guess 6 years later, we're still together. And I don't know when the marriage talk happened. I heard about it. We talked about it a little bit in college. We didn't want to be too set in stone while we were in college because we weren't financially stable. We didn't have incomes or salaries or anything like that. We were struggling just to get through school, and so to plan a wedding and all that, we didn't want to. But it wasn't until junior year of college that we really started to talk about it. She mentioned commitment a lot, so she started hinting at it. That was the hint for me. She was like, I want something. Are you committed? Are you committed? What's this all about? Having this, getting serious and all that. And so one thing led to another, and proposed to her senior year of college. I guess it's 1 year ago from last April was when I proposed to her. Last March.
Yeah.
Shit.
I can comment on the backstory too. Is before we started dating, we didn't just meet. We were best friends too. We had the same friend group in college, so we were always hanging out. We didn't see each other that way. We didn't flirt or anything. We were in other relationships, and it was like that for a couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird. It wasn't expected. It was kind of one of those I think our relationships coincidentally ended a day apart, and it wasn't our faults or anything.
Wow.
Me and my boyfriend at the time had gotten in a huge fight that night, and then that next day his girlfriend broke up with him.
Whoa.
So
hold up. I broke it off with her.
No, that's not true.
If you ever watch this video, I'll cut that off real quick.
No.
Get it right for the record.
And then he texted me and was like, this is what he said to me that day. He goes, I'm never going to love again. He says, I'm just going to become a Buddhist monk. I'm done with love.
Oh my god.
And I was like, no, that's not true. You'll probably find someone. Just keep, you'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is so cute. That's faith.
It is.
That it happened so close.
But we didn't have any control over it. Things just happened. It was all circumstantial. And I mean, we didn't plan to break up with our significant others at that time.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
So, I mean, usually, ideally, people's age to get married is like 25. But was this always something that you guys planned to get married, like, in your 20s? Or was it just like...
Yeah. I mean, I never thought about it before I started dating him.
I knew when this... You can kind of comment it on Kara, but I knew... She told me when we first... The initial stages of us dating... I don't think she necessarily had any intentions of like marrying me or anything like that, but she knew that we would be together for a long time, and I think it kind of compounded, through the years. So like, oh well, I like him enough. Maybe I want to, maybe I want to start a relationship. Well, maybe I want to marry him. And so initially, she had. I didn't have those thoughts early on, but I know she did, and I guess I don't know. She maybe foresaw it or predicted it. I'm not sure, but that's what she had.
I think like. The big thing was like getting through school, and we were together for a while, so it was kind of like I would say 3 or 4 years into our relationship, we're like, we're probably gonna stick around, but it's kind of like if we're not going anywhere, why rush into marriage? You're not gonna go anywhere anyways, and even if you're worried about that person going away, if you're like, oh, I gotta marry them or we're never gonna be together, then you shouldn't be together. Because you shouldn't have to worry about like walking in it or anything.
Right.
So I think it was just really about like, we're not gonna rush it, let's finish school and whatever happens kind of thing. So I don't think it's something we like plan necessarily.
Right.
But I think naturally it makes sense.
Right.
Once you start kind of your adult life. And I guess with young age too, I mean, I guess it depends on every relationship too.
Yeah.
Every relationship's different. And I know that because we've known each other since we were 14 years old. It's kind of one of those like, we already know everything about each other. There's nothing more, as long as we can like grow up together, so we're gonna go through all these huge life changes. We're gonna graduate high school. We're gonna become legally adults together. We're gonna go through college together. We're gonna go through a lot of crazy like things with stress, learning how to live on your own. Like if you can do all of that and get through all of that, I mean, there's not much more. That. It's basically just as long as you can adult together. Right. And we waited a year after college to get married, so we had a whole year of living together and paying bills together and working and stuff. So getting through that, I was like, well, those are the big stones.
Right.
It's a little test period, like of actually living, because we didn't live together at all, like during college, and so that year, I guess leading up to a year now, that year where we spent in like a studio apartment, paying bills, doing all the adult things, was like, can we actually make this work?
I know a lot of millennials, like they are super stuck. I mean, I was reading an article about how like the average age for like millennials to get married now is like 29 for women and 27 for men, or 29 for men, 27 for women, something like that. But pretty much like millennials now are like either like waiting to get married or they're like just like not even thinking about getting married. So what's y'all's perspective? Because you guys are millennials,
right?
Like, do you guys think it just so happens since you guys have been together so long that like it just made sense to get married, or like what's your perspective on like millennials getting married older?
Yeah, so I think that's good. I think we have such an individualistic society where it's encouraged that you're going to become the person that you want to become. We have this free capitalistic society where it's, you're kind of one for all, so you've got to make a life for yourself. It's a competitive, kind of, I guess, environment that we're kind of grown up in. So it's kind of like you focus on yourself. And so I think a lot of millennials, and maybe it has to do with our parents' generation, have kind of taught us, we're special. You are unique, you're special. So I think a lot of people want to focus on that. Like, I'm going to do me for a long time because I have all these goals that I want to achieve and stuff, and relationships get in the way of that. And so I think a lot of people and millennials probably feel that way, maybe, just because and I think it's kind of a generational thing. And maybe even seeing like parents get divorced and stuff like that could also play into it.
People, millennials might be very receptive. You're growing up with parents, a lot of parents are having really high divorce rates, so maybe seeing parents, their moms and dads, or their parents divorce even having like even growing up maybe in like a one parent household might have an effect.
Maybe, I mean, sometimes. I mean, both of our parents are divorced, so obviously that really.
Also, I mean, I think it's just hard to meet someone just face to face unless you've known someone throughout your life. It's hard to creating a like very intentional relationship through like just in person anymore. Everything's very digital now, which is like I think it's a wonderful thing, but like as like you've kind of talked with like Tinder and all these like dating apps, which are like wonderful for meeting people, but sustaining those relationships is another part of it. And so I think that might be hard in the sense it just takes a little bit more effort rather than like growing up with someone where we were like right next to each other the whole time. We were in the same vicinity, growing up and making that relationship just because it was easy. Much harder when it's like through digital media and platforms and apps and.
And as millennials, I do think like if I hadn't met someone in high school, I don't think I would be married right now. You know? Just to be honest, I mean, if I hadn't met Abby, I don't think I would have married someone else that quickly, you know. So I do think that it does a lot just have to do with, you know, kind of meeting someone kind of far back.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's so interesting. Like, what do you guys like? Now you guys meeting like face to face, that's kind of like old school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how do y'all feel about
the idea of a date now is kind of strange.
Yeah,
like, like
exactly.
the job, like we're talking. So talking
right.
is
Oh
very,
my goodness. There's
like,
so many different stages
very,
now.
Like it's almost like a taboo. You're not supposed to call it like dating anymore.
Right.
Like, going on like multiple dates, like having drinks with someone. Like it's okay to say like you went on a date. I think that's a very loose term, but like people are like. Date like gossip. They're like, did you and Tia went out with like this person? Like, just why not tell y'all things?
Right.
Gossip goes around. Like we just went and got drinks.
Right.
Ate queso and chips. Like y'all overanalyzing things. So.
No, yeah. Well, how do y'all feel about like online dating? Like, because you guys didn't get a chance to do that.
No.
Like,
so I don't have a first-hand experience.
Right.
Yeah. You better not. Oh, wait, you don't start the shoulders.
I think my thoughts on Tinder and dating apps and stuff like that, I think it's great because also like everyone that's on those apps, I guess they have different purposes for being on the app and they can find people that have the same purpose.
True.
Which is kind of cool. And you kind of know up front what the person's intentions are. Whereas sometimes when you go like on blind dates or like you meet somebody, you don't know what their intentions are. So it almost serves as a filter. So that's kind of cool.
Never thought of it like that.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty neat.
What is your favorite part about being married?
I think being able to hang out with your best friend every day is probably my favorite part about being married. I know like we both really like to travel and like do new things. And something we kind of agreed on. I was like, oh, well, let's make it like kind of a priority that we're going to do as much traveling as we possibly can kind of thing. Just being able to, you know, I want to live an adventurous life, but being able to spend it with the person that I care about most is really cool. And having somebody that is just as open-minded and as adventurous as I am, but also doesn't mind laying around watching Netflix on a Friday night as well. So just kind of like that perfect balance.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite part. Never feel alone.
I think my favorite part about being married is that you have the most unconditional, like unrelenting support from probably the most important person in your life, which is, I mean, very like it's a very empowering thing to know that regardless of what you do or what's going on in the day, there's that one person, in this case it is Kara, that has my back, that knows what's best for me, that I can always go to, that's always supportive, always empowering, to allow me to be the best I can be my own person, you know, make decisions that, you know, make me into hopefully a better human and make me happy, most importantly. And so that's a kind of, I know that like the single life is like very fun and exciting, very flashy. You go out, have fun, get drunk, get a little turned.
But we do that together.
Yeah, but we do it together, right?
So that's the thing. Is like people talk about marriage, like oh, but then you're like tied down, and then oh, you're like you have to live this boring life. No, you just find someone who likes to turn up with you,
right? And
that you want to hang out with on Friday nights, and you have the same friends. You go out together, you have fun anyways.
It's a very beautiful thing, marriages. Like I mean, as corny as I was like to say, I mean it's beautiful. Like I'm
great.
spending the rest of my life with like my best friend.
Yeah.
She's stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I have
It is me who you are stuck with.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
No.
I go see.
Okay, so what's the hardest part about being married?
Wait. Choosing a place to eat.
Oh my god.
Is that?
It's
Is that?
worse.
Is that? See how quick I was with that.
And he is.
Okay.
And,
No,
okay.
no, hold
Okay,
on.
you
I
first.
give my answer first.
Alright.
Okay, so this might be with every couple. They don't really have to be married, but it is especially hard when you are married because you want to like. It's almost like blasphemy to go like go to different places to eat for dinner. Like, oh, you can grab like Sonic and remember. No, like you have to like spend 50 minutes arguing about a place to go. And then just end up going to Chili's anyway. Like it's especially like harder since we're like trying to make healthier choices.
That's hard.
Hibachi is like there's like a hibachi place that's right outside, right next to the gym.
Ah, that's
Devil.
messed
And it smells so good when you walk
up.
out.
That's so messed up.
The devil
It's
is
so hard.
tempting. It is real. It
Like-
is in the shape of a hibachi steakhouse.
When we're like, what do you want for dinner? Like, we both know what we want for dinner, but we
No,
just
no,
can't
no,
do
no.
it. Like, we can't say it.
Dang.
Because then it confirms that we both really want hibachi. I don't know, just having to, like...
I'm gonna say this, I hurt my feelings.
It's not gonna hurt your feelings because you know. It's just like you do things very carelessly a lot, and it drives me nuts.
Oh, so this is a specific.
It is
honey,
specific.
you have to.
About being married, no, but seriously, it's combating personality types because I'm a very calculated person. I'm very mindful when I do everything, but he's very like you know, like if he's making dinner, like spices are knocked over and like everything's just all over the place, and I'm just like cringing. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
So, okay, that's interesting because a lot of couples, they are opposites.
Yeah.
So, like,
We are
figuring
opposites.
out how to balance that.
Yeah.
That.
I guess that's the bigger umbrella of like how like dealing with another human that is the opposite of you.
Right.
That is so
I mean,
true.
we are like she's
Like-
calculated. I'm careless. Yeah, like little like it's almost like living like a longer version of like in college whenever you would room with your roommate or your room with your best friend. Like you think it's a good idea, and then you start like noticing like little quirks and
Yeah.
like little things that like, piss you off. But
Yeah.
like with marriage, you like there's no like go home at the summer and like find another roommate.
Right.
It's you're living with that person
Right.
for the rest of your life, so you have to deal with little. I mean, it could be the most minor things. They pick up after a while. I mean, they just build, and you can like verbalize, like, honey, like, can you just put away stuff that you use after, can you put it away after you use it, please? I'm like, okay, I'll do it 5 more times.
And then
She'll leave her shit. As much of a sneakerhead as I am, she'll leave her shoes everywhere. I mean, it's just like there's no place to put it. The whole the floor is littered. I'm like tripping over shoes and shit.
That'll
annoying.
change. That'll change when we move though.
Will it?
Yeah.
We'll give you an update in a couple months.
So sometimes like we feel bad for leaving each other, but we also don't want to do what the other person wants to do.
I got you.
So you have to find a balance of, oh, I'm gonna go do my thing,
Right.
and you go do your thing, but you don't want to hurt each
Yeah.
other's feelings.
You're your own
Right.
person in a marriage. Like
Yeah.
as much as it's Mr. and Missus, like you're still like
You have to remember.
we each have our like different passions, different interests. She likes
Yeah.
this, I like this. She likes, painting. I really don't like painting. She likes this type of music. I like Migos. I mean, it's just a very different kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I feel like that's the beauty of a relationship.
It is.
And, like
It is.
figuring out or like seeing the differences,
Mhm.
but seeing how you guys make that work at the same
Mhm.
time. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's the beauty of love. and
It is.
Making things work.
Mhm.
I like that.
Agreed.
Well, my last question is: do you guys have kind of like thrown some advice in there, but do you guys have any advice for people who are about to get married, or people who are still young and getting married, or newlyweds?
Yeah, I would say one big thing, if you're considering getting married, get some marriage counseling, because it raises questions that you're afraid to ask each other in a lot of situations, and I think that it kind of forces you to have those conversations and to really talk it through and to make sure you agree on those things, rather than talking about it after you're married and then realizing, oh shit, like, you don't want kids, well, I want kids, or, oh, you want to live here, well, I hate the water, I don't want to live by a lake or something. And then the other person's like, well, that's my dream. And then, you want to talk about those things before. You want to talk about talk about the future, talk about where you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, and make sure that they align in some way. And if not, is there a compromise? Because, you are going to have to spend your future together even when you get married. I know a lot of it's kind of stuck in the, oh, it's exciting, it's fun, but you have to think about the rest of your life too.
Right.
So just kind of preparing for that and thinking about that and making sure you're on the same page.
That truly kind of digs deep and asks those very difficult questions, things that I think you kind of talked about before, our wife, are you willing to move and pick up and leave if your partner gets the dream job? These are of course they're very interesting scenarios, and I'm sure they can kind of laugh about it, maybe not, but it really makes you think would I actually move for you? Pick up where everything that you have, leave your career, leave your family and friends behind, and go with this other human to go for them to chase their dream, and then you're kind of following, you're just kind of being there with them.
Yeah.
And you have to replant your roots and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would say one other big thing is, maybe you don't have the same music in common, or silly superficial things like that, but make sure that your values align. Because one thing is, you cannot change a person. So if you feel like someone it's they're great, but they have this really bad perspective on life, or they don't think you have to treat other people with respect or something, and that's kind of you're not going to be able to change them, and it's not healthy to try to change somebody. So if your values aren't aligning and you don't feel like they're a genuinely good person and that you agree with everything, not everything, but the deep core values, that's something to seriously consider. Is I guess just to make sure that because things change. Yeah. You both are gonna look different down the road. You're both your taste buds are gonna change. Your taste in music is gonna change. Your taste in clothes are gonna change. You're gonna want to do different things. Your hobbies are gonna change. But one thing is, your core values probably will never change, and they're gonna be that person. So if you don't like who they are, then you're never gonna like them going forward.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Just for me, I think Kara touched on is compromise, and I think being open-minded. And so, of course, you can. You have separate interests in things that you both each other like, but just what's beautiful about marriage is that you can kind of start to you might at first really hate opera or the music they like, but after a while you're this isn't so bad. And so what I was kind of joking beforehand, but music that Kara likes, she'll play it for me, I bet that's kind of lame.
And then I'll see it on his Spotify.
I said, got me.
He secretly knows I have great taste in music.
But she never does the same because she's very against it. But you start to share each other's interests and share movies and things that you kind of what you start to enjoy separately, you start to enjoy together. And I think that's an awesome part about being married. So just being open, being open-minded about change. It's gonna happen whether you've been married within know each other and marry them within a year or even 6 years, that they're gonna change, as all people do. Growing is very important and a big part of being in a relationship and knowing that.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. Thank you guys for being a part of this episode.
Thanks for having us.
If you guys liked this, leave a comment below. If you want to be a guest on the show, let me know. But yeah, until next time, have a good day, guys.